Welcome back to Fret Buzz. We're here again. Episode 2, Season 2, Episode 2.
2.2.
We had a good one last week. I just got to say, thank you to Uncle Larry for watching our ode to Uncle Larry.
Means a
and
lot.
commenting. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me and Jonathan specifically, I think we bonded during the pandemic a lot over watching Uncle Larry's videos and kind of dissecting those and seeing what Tom had to say. I know for me as a guitar player, I learned a lot of cool, things that I think helped shape me over the last few years from seeing him and, a lot of his ethos. And it helped. So thank you for acknowledging us and reaching out. That was cool.
Yeah, man. Super cool.
You're the man.
Thank you.
But onward, right?
Onward and upward. Only kidding, Tom.
All right, Tom. See you later.
It's only up from here. No. So today, and here's another guy that I think we both really enjoyed. Chris Buck, Friday Fretworks, man. He was one of those guys when we first found his channel, first hear him play. It's pretty astounding. Like, he's got a very particular style. I think he kind of popped out onto the scene of it all. When he was a really sort of breath of fresh air at a really good time.
Paul Davids, right? Paul Davids got him in that one video, and the next thing that I personally saw, I felt like was Chris Buck fever. Like, it was ravenous. Like, everybody was trying to do the little bend lick thing.
Was that when he jumped out? Was when it was that collaboration style? Because he did kind of steal the show of that.
Yes. For me, that was the first time that I heard his name. That's whenever I heard. Boom. I was like, oh, Chris Buck. That's a dude who rips. Oh, my God. Because that solo blew my mind. I was just like, Jesus.
Well, I mean,
he showed up. He ate.
He showed up, killer playing. Yep. He kind of gets associated with a guitar that, is not a Fender or a Gibson or something, or a PRS. He's playing a Yamaha Revstar. So, yeah. Just pretty neat.
He gave me Revstar lust. I was like,
you have a Revstar now.
Yes,
because of
I
that.
do. It was bad news, dude. He got me. You got me, Chris. Thank you. You got me.
So, new format like we did last week with the Tom Bukovac stuff. Sean and I sort of went back through some of the videos that we've loved, tried to put them in sort of 5 categories. I'm sure there's ones we've missed, but these are the ones we're going to go with, and we're going to try to give you sort of good examples of those videos that you can go check out. We're going to post a link to a playlist with the videos we're talking about in the description. So check that out if you want to watch the original videos. But here's what the categories are. They're live gig stuff, because that goes without any explanation. He talks about his sort of experiences with live gigs. We'll get into talking about these as we go through the videos. Demo stuff. So he's doing product demos in a sort of unique way, I think. We'll talk about that as well. History stuff. So he's doing almost like mini 5 Watt World kind of history videos. Number 4, pedal stuff. There's a really fun one that actually touched us in a strange way.
Yes.
I love that one. And then sort of stuff that falls into tips and tricks, because he's obviously a fantastic player.
Amazing player.
Starting off on the live gig stuff. I should have looked this up before we started, but there was some band he was in when he first started doing the Friday Fretworks. The name didn't be Chris Buck. You guys tell us in the comments what it was. I'm sure you.
It wasn't
remember.
Cardinal Black though.
No, it was a band. It was
band.
Something he was involved in before that, and then it was Chris Buck, and then I think Cardinal Black sort of took off. And I could be totally wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Sorry.
But he's obviously going out with Cardinal Black now. This is his newer band. And just doing a lot of fun things. It seems like he's obviously a pro.
I was going to
musician.
say, it seems like Cardinal Black seems to have a very good trajectory up where they've been playing some pretty cool shows, and that's kind of what we're getting in here with this first video, right? Which is kind of an issue you might run into.
I'd love, this is a sort of it's on topic, but I'd love to talk to him at some point about how he thinks his YouTube success helped the trajectory of Cardinal, how that all played out. Yes. What was happening first and because obviously he's not the only dude in Cardinal Black. They got a great singer. The band seems solid. But anyways, the video it's called Pedal Board Fail in Front of Thousands. And there's a video. They're out on tour. They're traveling. It's not just about that, but that's sort of one of the main things going on. As often happens, his pedal board doesn't make the trip quite as smoothly as it should. The pedals are flopping around when he gets there. He's in front of all this sea of people. things are making strange noises and not working.
A little bit bigger than a small club, huh?
I mean, it sucks bad enough when you're in front of 100 people or 30 people and that happens,
good.
but I've actually had it happen to me in about front of, I'm going to guess, 3,000 people, and it sucks. God. And mine was way better than his. Mine was just one pedal. I hit it, the switch died, and it just was silence. And then so it was easily for me to avoid that this night. His was a bit different, but
yeah. I'm saying 30 people, I'm gonna feel a little sick about it. I'm gonna be like, ugh, that's gross. 300 people, I'm gonna have a headache. I'm gonna be like, oh no, this is the worst possible scenario. Then once you hit a number like 3,000 and up, and the Chris Buck,
I don't know how many thousands are his, but it looks like it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot of people. It's not good.
Well, just playing in front of that many people at first is a whole thing.
But as a professional, what I think is cool, he handles it. He handles it well. He totes it on his shoulder and he just walks right through the door, you know? I'm like, wow. Because for me, I told you whenever we were watching it together, it's like, dude, I'd vomit. I'd puke.
Well, it's cool watching channels where it's guys who are playing like that because it gives you this glimpse into the experiences you might be having, how to handle them, sometimes how to not handle them.
So I picked my pedal board up and I threw it into the crowd.
Anyways, so that's the live gig stuff. Number 2 is the demo stuff. So he does some pretty cool demos of different guitars. Thinking about it, right? Some of it is kind of like almost what we do. Like we tend to demo stuff that we are not necessarily selling. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's like he just gets his hands on a cool guitar. He makes a cool video.
Yeah.
And then this one, the one that we sort of picked for this, the name of the video is "The Greatest Guitar Ever Made." It's about the ES335, and the little thumbnail you'll see it says "Burst Killer," and he's talking about like sort of a Les Paul versus a 335. I know I watched this a ton. Just because it was a little after I got the 335, but I was just thinking about that. Do I still need Les Paul? Well,
it's cool super video. Cool, and I think he takes a good take to it too. Being a guy who's gigging on one end, but also he's able to get his hands on a lot of these cool guitars that sometimes it's hard to come by. And especially, I remember there was a point, especially in the last 4 years, where 335s seemed like they didn't exist. Like it was like there was nowhere to find one. I had went to a bunch of stores to try and play one. I knew guys who were going to places trying to play them, and you couldn't ever, really it was hard to source one. I had guys come to me and they were like, "Can you find me one?" I was like, "I mean, we can scope through Reverb." I was like, "But if you're looking for something at an alright deal and also being able to find something that you're gonna like really bond with, it's like it's gonna be luck of the draw." It's pretty crazy. So
well, I mean, for a long time for me, like that was a bucket list guitar, and for some reason I don't know why it seemed even more unattainable than like a Les Paul or something. They just did, and maybe it was that scarcity. But I had a friend in Nashville that we were playing in the same band, and he was ready to buy a 335, and we went on this crazy hunt.
Yes.
And there's plenty of them in Nashville, but
finding the one, yeah.
And his I think I told this story before, but I don't know that his hunt ended wonderfully, but anyways, it's just a tricky thing.
It ended with a drug addiction. That's what he's getting. Anyways, though,
that was a great video, and I think it's cool on some of these demos, right? When you have a player who's really unique, to see like you kind of have what Chris Buck sounds like in your head, or I do. Yeah, and I think that's probably why people gravitated towards him so much and love his playing. Yeah. So to hear the guitar that you want to hear with the style you kind of have in your head. I don't know. I think there's something kind of neat about that. How does that handle the thing that Chris Buck does? I think that's different than some of these guys who are not saying that Chris Buck's not versatile and a great player, but some of these guys, whatever that guitar is supposed to do, they can do it, and so it sounds good no matter what. Yeah. And like him, no matter what he's doing, it's sort of like his flavors to it. It's his style. Yeah. Well, so I kind of dig that.
Being that it is on a 335 too, it kind of slides us right into the next topic here, which is our history subject, right? Where he played Eric Clapton's 335. Almost.
Nearly. That's the name of the video. Playing Eric Clapton's 335, nearly.
That's right.
Very British way to phrase it.
It's very nearly. But what's cool with that video is, once again, 335 love all around. And then he's playing, why it's nearly Eric Clapton's 335 is it's one serial number away, right?
I think it's like made the day before Eric Clapton's. Because they have the ledgers at Gibson where some of the years. They got pretty good records, and then some years not. But so apparently it was literally the day before Eric Clapton. So he was saying that's probably the closest you could get to like a Clapton spec. And I think that guitar, like at the time, was for sale at a shop somewhere near him. I don't remember exactly, but
Well, that's I think too with that and how he does most of those history videos is he seems to have a pretty interesting spin on them. I would say
too.
like that's an interesting way to talk about a vintage 335 without just doing a video that I feel like we've all probably seen where somebody just picks up the guitar and they're like, oh, it's
Here's
the
what it is, and they made it
335
this
was
year.
made
Yeah.
in it's like he actually I don't know, he goes about it finding some angle that I don't know, to me at least that's interesting.
Well, like in that video, he's giving you a vintage guitar that has kind of a cool story and that is so close to the one that is kind of iconic for Clapton having. I think there's two theories about sort of where Clapton's came from, and they were there's some contention, like Clapton remembers it a certain way. There's another theory that maybe was more likely, and he kind of gives you both things, and he's telling you about there was after Guitar Center bought that 335. Guitar Center and Gibson collaborated, and they built a limited run of reissues of that. And like John Mayer, that's what John Mayer's playing, I think, at that Crossroads where he's playing the Ain't No Sunshine thing. I know.
Whoa. He's not allowed to play that.
So kind of interesting. Like, would you rather have the reissue that sell? I think at the time of the video, I think he was saying sold for like $12,000, or that vintage one that obviously is really close to the Clapton one that was like 22,000, I think, at the time, or like 20,000 pounds or something like that. Anyways, you get away from dollars. I don't know what things mean, but
the Fever here we got next up with these pedals.
Fever.
I feel like he does a good job of that, like with the 335, because I know we talked about Clapton's 335 when you were getting yours, and there's a photo in Jonathan's teaching room that it's Clapton with the guitar. It's sick. It's amazing.
Ooh.
This one, though, me and Jonathan have a thing where we actively hunt fuzz pedals, like, aggressively. Like,
Dang.
we're vicious, dude. I mean, seriously, like, and just to be disappointed, really, that's all it is. We're
Pretty
just
constantly, yeah.
we're rushing to get disappointed. But Chris Buck does pedal videos, or more or less pedal kind of reviews, weird things like that. And he talked about the Pelt Fuzz, and set off last year a chain of events where I felt like everybody was calling me, asking me, hey, you got a Pelt in stock? Hey, you got a Pelt in stock? Hey, you got a Pelt in stock?
And we did have a couple because no one ever bought them until that.
Well, in his video, and it's like, did you overlook this future classic is what he said. Sorry, excuse me, future classic. And he showed on there that he bought his for almost $80.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I went back and played it after seeing that video, and you can call it whatever you want to call it. I played it and I was like, damn, that's pretty good. And it took obviously a great guitar player, playing it and saying, this is good, for me to turn around and say, oh yeah, this is good. Thank you, Chris Buck.
Thanks,
for
Chris
the
Buck,
Rev
for
Star and the Pelt.
opening my eyes to this new year.
I mean, for you, I just remember everybody calling, and that being huge, like nonstop.
It was really weird, man. We went from like not thinking at all about them; they just kind of lived in the pedal case, right? To like, it was a solid 3 or 4 days of people calling, like,
just
man,
nonstop.
You guys got the Fender Pelt? You guys played the Pelt? Did you see that video, the Chris Buck?
What do you think of it? Oh my God.
And the truth is, and this is why these videos are so cool, right? Like, a guy like Chris Buck is a great player, or really anybody, right? You can take almost any piece of gear, pedal, amp, whatever, and find something that's really cool, that sounds cool about it. And sometimes I think we get so, like especially us, because we're around it all the time, we get blind to that kind of stuff. Like, oh, it's just another old fuzz or blah, blah, blah. Yep. And you forget to take a little bit of time, figure out how it works, figure out what's the sweet spot. So, videos like that are nice reminders. Yeah. Man, you can get great tones out of all these things, and they don't have to be expensive.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, and a sidebar to that, I was talking to somebody the other day about this, and this is exactly that. I should have played the Pelt with an open mind. Like, you should probably play every pedal, right? Yeah. I talked to somebody the other day, though, that was talking junk on Boss, and they were like, well, Boss is just like, they're kind of like the fake effect. I'm like, actually, I mean, I've got 2 Boss pedals on my board right now that I'm like, damn, they just work.
They just work forever. I've never had a Boss pedal mess up,
even if
it's like
good too. Yeah,
pawn shop fine. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've seen like they're like, my biggest secret is the blues driver. I'm like, It works though.
I
It
mean,
sounds
there's a
good.
ton of old school, like our heroes, you know what I mean, that are, if you look at the pedal boards, it's mostly probably just boss pedals.
Yeah.
Prince was like all boss, I think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, it's like, hey.
Yeah.
But, you know, sidebar done. I just wanted to put that out there. Try them, you know? And Chris Buck is a great example of that. I'm like, hey, you missed it, dude. And it's like, whoa, great job.
You missed out.
That's right.
Maybe like you missed out on the middle pickup. So last one, tips, like, you know, there's things he does, tips and tricks. And there's one where he puts out, it's called, he calls it the Forgotten Stratocaster Sound, and it is just, it's the middle pickup.
This man's gotten me 3 times in a row, Jonathan.
3 times.
Not only did I buy a Rev Star, not only did I go back and play the Pelt. Now, granted, I didn't get this from Chris Buck. I got this from Baxter. But it's the same tip. Use the middle pickup. And Chris Buck does a great job of kind of explaining some of the nuances to it. And in a weird way, it's probably like the most Strat sounding pickup on the guitar in a weird way.
Well, he makes a case for like some really iconic songs probably being the middle pickup. Here's what's funny, and this is a good, again, this is me being stupid. There was a point in my like much younger guitar playing life where I loved the middle pickup on a Strat. And then you like learn all this junk. Oh no, man, the neck is the sweet spot. You know what I mean? And it is, the neck is great, right? And then so like I got to this point where like I would never go in the middle because it's just not, it's like not what you do. But that's dumb. I should have gone to the middle because I like it, right?
Yes.
I had this guy at the Blues Jam. He was this British guy. He would call me Middle Pickup Johnny because I like to play in the middle position. And it always, I was like, what does he mean? People not playing the middle pickup? And then you're like, no, yeah, everyone loves possessions 2 and 4 and the neck. And you're like, okay, can't play on the middle. So
I grew up thinking neck and bridge, and that was it. And then it took Baxter saying, go somewhere else. Play somewhere else on the
something
guitar.
different.
Stop being lame. And then I was like, ah. But listen, in defense of the neck and bridge pickup, I don't think there's a bad position on a Stratocaster. I'm going to be honest.
Well, there's not. I mean, that's the thing, right? And middle is very, but sometimes the middle is just what you need, man. It's kind of.
Well, I noticed that, you know, it's funny to bring up the middle pickup, and Chris Buck kind of illuminating this for us all. I was playing on a song, and I went to the middle pickup, and I totally played the riff differently. And in the way that I was intending to play it. And all it was that I had it in the neck instead of the middle. Changed the whole way I was playing it because of the way it sounded. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. So don't sleep on the middle pickup, and don't sleep on Chris Buck.
Don't. Honorable mention. I almost put for tips and tricks. There's one video that I'm going to put in the list. Why I always hold a pick, but don't always use it. I thought that was a really cool video talking about just his style. You know, just a neat video. So check that one out too. It's in there. But yeah, Chris Buck, man, we love your videos. We love you for the inspiration that you've given us.
Thanks,
and
man.
I think obviously lots of people. So I'm sure you guys have watched Chris Buck. It's not like you're hearing about his channel for the first time, but go check out these videos. Think about them maybe in these categories. Maybe tell us what categories we missed.
That's right.
Maybe there's videos we missed. Share them in the comments.
I'm going to throw this out there too. If you guys have any channels that you absolutely love, that maybe, you know, and they can have 10,000 subscribers, they can have 200,000 subscribers. Let us know in the comments, and we would love to go and watch them and just check them out briefly and see, because we're kind of searching for people. We wanted to pick a few of our favorites for the first few videos, but we're kind of having fun with it, and these are the people that inspire us. So let us know who you think that we should cover, and we'll maybe check them out as well. But I mean, outside of that, click like, click subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Ding, ding.
Follow us on X.
That's right. Don't forget.
That's not true.
Find us on X.
If only we had time for such things. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.